Okay, so today is going to be like episode 3, I think, of my little Whizbang adventure, just trying to see how long he can last. So I didn't start it off as like him being a permanent sort of challenge, but so the first episode I went on a good win streak, but I might have actually lost a game there. But starting the second one, I said, okay, now I can't lose a game. So we must have gone undefeated last time, which isn't that hard to do considering how short some of these episodes are. It's like I only play a couple games, but we'll do that. So sort of going into the new year, not that it has anything to do with that, but just see if he can survive through the new year into next year. So that seems like a great accomplishment, even though it's only been like a couple weeks into December that we've been doing it, not like the whole year. But let's see if he can survive into next year by basically just surviving this episode. If we do lose, then our backup is only to play as a hunter right now, or at least that's what I want to do. I'm doing all these kind of theme decks in some sort of vague order. So like I was doing Iron Juggernaut, then Explore Ungoro, Renounced Darkness, like all these kind of ones that I always liked to do before. So now we somehow ended up at Whizbang, which is a pretty fitting time to do it, when sort of a new expansion comes out, and I don't really have any interest in the current meta, but I can still, somehow experience some of it. So the clown face Arthas guy is back. And I almost wanted to turn stuff like this into, like how I would do with chess. Not that it really helped my, I don't know, they made the shop kind of weird. Not that it helped my player or anything like that super well, but like you could turn this kind of game into like a just chatting stream somehow and like react to stuff and do stupid things, which I always mock and kind of consider doing ironically, but somehow it almost feels like that's something a lot of people do. Yeah, Whizbang is a very fun card, and I haven't used him in a super long time. It literally was probably 5 years, maybe more, since I ever used him. I can't remember when the last time it was. So we were almost trying to push for bronze, but silver, but I didn't lose a game. I'm pretty positive of that last time. And it almost seems like we're unbeatable. Not that getting to silver is a big deal, but somehow it's a case where, just using this is vastly better than the normal garbage that I use in these gimmick kind of theme decks that I do. But also just the pure power creep of the cards is there. And if you actually understood the meta a little better, you could get a lot farther too. So we're going to do like a Permadeath 1 deck speed run to Legend, of course, but probably not. Okay, Rush, Reborn, Chain, Guardian. I don't think I've really gotten... Wait, what do you... Oh, no, never mind. Rush, Reborn, costs 1 less for each plague shuffled in the enemy deck this game. Destroy a plague in your opponent's deck to deal 3. Like, these are good cards, but I don't understand when I'm going to get those. Destroy a minion, summon a copy of it. A friendly minion. I'm not a big fan of this curve, but it might be the best we're going to get here. I don't really know. I feel like I've gotten Death Knight before, but I don't think I saw any of these cards. Which is quite possible, because it might have been over so quickly. Yeah, I was reading like this could be a good React form of content. There's like a few different things to do with dinosaurs. For whatever reason, I was just seeing stuff related to that. Like the way a T-Rex sounds was like sort of recreated. This is kind of old too, but it was sort of recreated and it sounds more like a bird. It's like a light sound. It's not like the roars, like the sound like a lion or something from the movies or whatever Jurassic Park and stuff would do. And that seems kind of realistic because their vocal cords are kind of more like that of a bird. And also just like another little interesting debate that like, oh, dinosaurs all went extinct because of a meteor and this and that. But actually, technically they're not extinct and they're still around because birds are a direct descendant of them. And not only are they a descendant of them, but they literally are, they were around at that time. So they just simply survived from then. It's not even like, oh, they evolved from them, but they were around then. So dinosaurs do exist today, and they're birds. That's literally what it is. Staffs of the Primus is after your hero attack, shuffle random plague in your opponent's deck. Okay, that is actually pretty good, but I don't really know how the plagues even work, to be honest with you. Or is this like some sort of rainbow Death Knight that everybody's is all the rage apparently that people are saying is good? Like that necrotic plague thing for 10 that has like a really weird name, like a big mouthful. Yeah, that was one interesting subject. Like sort of just the framing of like dinosaurs in a horror movie right? There's some elements of that in the Jurassic Park movies, but for some reason, this would be more fitting doing Magic the Gathering as a discussion, just because of how much I love dinosaur decks there. We got to play as a druid and use like fucking Tyrantus or whatever the guy's name is. And I think I was saying that one wrong too. It's not Gigantosaurus, it's like Otosaurus. I don't even know how you really say it, but I think that's actually the one that I'm always saying in Magic. I kind of want to play on curve, but it seems a little bit too slow. Or it seems like a waste to even wait on doing this. Like, we'll do it and just wait for... Yeah, I don't even know what that does. Cast when drawn takes 2 damage. Your next card costs 1 more, up to 10. This is so fun to do because it's like, I don't even know what most of these cards do. So it's like doing a blind arena run where you don't even get to choose. It's a trade-off. Like, I don't know what I'm choosing or what I'm getting, and I don't have a choice. But, and I don't even know what it is, but it's also going to be better than what you would get in an arena because it's much more cohesive, right? Whatever the theme of the deck is already preconceived because it's a deck recipe, basically. So those can be pretty good sometimes, actually. So you trade off sort of your own ignorance and input for the ability to get something at least a little bit better. Yeah, that's just some random tangent topic I was thinking about. So yeah, the sounds are not as scary as you might think, but they're more just sort of natural, or they're not as loud. They're kind of subtle, more bird-like. The fact that birds are literally dinosaurs and they survive that. Or like, how about even the whole interpretation of the meteor? Like the way people think about it, oh, a meteor killed all the dinosaurs. Like it just landed on their head and killed them. Like maybe that's true for some of them. But it's just as simple as like all the smoke and ash and this and that destroyed the environment and fucked up the climate and stuff like that. That led to them dying, not the actual impact of it itself. So, you know, just the way that people say it, though, oh, a meteor killed the dinosaurs. Like it just landed on them and killed them. Destroy friendly minion, resummon it. Destroy a plague, deal 3. Oh, that's actually perfect. There's no reason to really save that weapon, I guess, because like, what is the 1 damage really going to do for me to anything? I keep changing my mic settings too because I can't remember what they were on before, but they kind of changed on their own and now I can't figure out. So this might be a little bit too quiet. Actually, I can kind of just check and tab out as we're even thinking about like, let's react to something. That is kind of a fun idea though. Like if I was ever to do react content, that would be the way to go about it. You know, like while you're doing something like this, or like while I do chess, I could be reacting to something in the background and you wouldn't even know it. Like, let's look up some interesting dinosaur facts here. Dinosaur fossils have been around on all 7 continents. This is the kind of shit that people do on YouTube. They get like millions of views and stuff. They're literally stealing and borrowing other people's content and findings, but they're just packaging it up. Like, did you know that this fact exists? Wow, I'll get 1 million views for it. It's not a fact that I discovered, it's a fact that I'm reading from somebody else. But because I'm a dumb shit and I put a video of it on YouTube, I get credit for it. Like, what the fuck? This is the state of how things work. And now, unironically or ironically, I'll end up doing it. Now, resummoning it wouldn't do that, obviously. But see, we're gonna just outvalue him. I feel like I'm playing PvZ Heroes, except I'm playing as the opponent, where they outvalue me just because I'm using like worse cards overall. I kind of wanted this cram in Season of Discovery somehow into one of these streams because it's not something I have actually an official slot for or time for, but I just don't know when I can do it. I barely have enough time to do my main categories now. So if I think about like the last year, right, if I like recap, basically I did a lot of card games at the end of last year going into this one. So I continued some of those, like I was doing Pokemon Online TCG and then TCG Live, and then I was doing Yu-Gi-Oh! Duel Links and Master Duel, and then after that I kind of stopped doing those, and then I did like WoW Hardcore instead of Pokemon, And then what did I do instead of Yu-Gi-Oh? I guess it really became the Permadeath multiplayer gauntlet, which was first Overwatch 2, and then it was Paladins. So Paladins felt like it lasted almost the whole fucking year. But I guess it was still like March or April when I did Overwatch 2. Like, the point is, the theme of last year was card games. The theme of this year was multiplayer gauntlet type stuff. Right, like, whatever, multiplayer permadeath environments. Like, even WoW Classic, you don't think of as multiplayer because I did it like a solo run. But still, it's a multiplayer game. And then obviously Paladins was a pretty good experience, and we're about to finish that. In fact, that was almost very fitting. If it was just a Wednesday, this might be our last episode of Paladins, but it'll be at the beginning of next year. If it just fell a little bit differently, it could be, you know, it could have been like today that we were doing it. Deal 3 damage, shuffle 2 random plays. This feels like a very contrived mechanic, honestly. Deal 3 damage to enemy and freeze it. It feels like we are going to need AoE somehow. Like, he just keeps getting some amount of board presence I don't really like. So what does the blood one do? I feel like we've only seen the other one. Or, I don't know. Take 2 damage, summon to 2/2. So the one increase the cost of his cards is the frost one. So Unholy, take 2 damage, summon a 2/2 for your opponent. The blood one is take 2, restore 2. Okay, I don't really like the blood one. The healing is stupid. Although I did love blood as what little Death Knight I played. Man, if I lose Whizbang because of this, that's not even fair at all. Like, that's so fucking stupid. I don't know how that happens or why it's been happening so much lately. Seems like we're still in a good spot. But deal 3, deal 1. We have a lot of these big guns coming up. In fact, maybe I should just do it. Rush and Reborn. Whizbang is actually getting sabotaged, but I'm still gonna win. Like, you're not fucking lag switch me out of here. I don't know what's happening, dude. I mean, it's +1, +3. Try minion, resummon it, which would, for the now my mouse is bugging out. What is going on? That would give it the reborn again, if I'm not mistaken. Deal 3, freeze it. I don't really even care too much about that, though. What if I just go face, and then I resummon it, which would also give me the rush? Wait. Oh, and it dies, though. Wait, that's still fine. The Foul Egg, which was pretty fun in the other deck. The, whatever, weird Nerubian Egg plus that, and keep flipping the Death Rattles and the Yodelers and stuff like that. Hard to believe it's been a year since Death Knights actually came out. But I was doing like that whole Death Knight completionist challenge at that point. Like just trying to collect every hero and stuff, which mostly just involves spending money on them because a lot of them you can only get that way. The Brawliseum was a good way to actually put a gameplay element on it, like whether you could win like 3 games to get one, or you have to win 12 games to get the other one. Say whatever, Sai or whatever. More like say goodbye, S-A-I, because say goodbye to your collection, because that's what I had to disenchant everything. Let me guess, it crashed again because I just can't do anything. Didn't seem like it, but no, what I was saying, now I'm going to end up saying the same thing 3 times because I don't know exactly at what point it cut off. I was saying that basically, I can't even probably remember now. I liked Blood the most at the beginning. I liked Mograine, the card that deals 3 damage every turn, stuff like that. So I did enjoy Blood at the beginning, despite it seeming to be not very popular. And so I made that little joke. I haven't seen this little Blood since Paul Thomas Anderson's misleadingly titled 2007 movie, There Will Be Blood, which was obviously, you know, there wasn't much, to say the least. It just at the end, he takes a fucking bowling pin and hits him. And Paul Thomas Anderson always struggled with his, like basically his third acts in his movies. I call him like the master without an end game, because if you think about his whole career, like Hard 8 was a good movie. It's a good character study of Sydney, played by Philip Baker Hall, but it doesn't really go anywhere, and the conflict in the third act and everything like that is sort of aimless, right? There's a couple, and they just kind of have some issues, and Samuel Jackson's character is there just as like a fodder, sort of whatever, just some pseudo antagonist, but there's really no third act or final thing. it's all about this main character. Then Boogie Nights is an amazing masterpiece of a movie, one of the best movies ever made. But again, the ending kind of meanders, and it's like all these random arbitrary fates of the characters. Don Cheadle's in a donut shop, and somebody gets shot, and he just takes a bag of money. Like, it doesn't really have anything to do with anything. Even that scene with the firecrackers. I mean, that one's good because it's like, he's questioning his life decisions, basically Dirk. But there's a lot of random wrapping up of fates of the characters that don't have any overarching story to them. So as amazing as the movie is, it's a high level criticism for that one. It still doesn't feel like it had a really cohesive ending to it. They have that little Raging Bull ripoff scene at the end with him talking in the mirror, "I'm a big star." And then Punch Drunk Love kind of almost doesn't count. That's just a different kind of movie. But the point is, most of his movies are very good, but they lack a really cohesive ending to them, I guess is the point, or like a good third act. Magnolia is the best example. There's a lot of spoilers on all these movies, but Magnolia is such a good movie. It's kind of like Crash or one of these other, mosaic type of films where it covers like a lot of different characters and intertwined fates and stuff. It's so good. It's well acted. It's like a soap opera, but in a good way, in the form of a movie where it's all these kind of high emotional climaxes. But then the problem is that what happened is the ending is so arbitrary and bullshit that even as somebody who thinks the movie is great, I'm not going to defend that with the frogs and the shit, just random trash, right? And again, people will defend stuff like that, but I'm at least objective enough to see through it. Like, it's just a cop out. It's just stupid. We don't want to see more stuff like that in movies, so I would have never defended that. What else? There Will Be Blood. It's the same thing. Like, it's a very good movie, but towards the end, it does sort of just have a certain dryness to it. Like, there was no real payoff to it. Not saying it has to be a positive ending, but even the final killing is like, okay, so what? It didn't feel like super profound or anything. And then The Master is a good example of that. You got two really good performances, Philip Seymour Hoffman, Joaquin Phoenix, but then there is no final act. It's like he drives off into the sunset on his little bike, and then he's just gone, and that's it. And then comes back, and they have a conversation, and the movie just ends. So it's like he never knows where to go with this final acts of his movies. I don't know why I just randomly felt like explaining that point, but I should almost upload that. I like these little just chatting portions that we can do, though. I was just talking about that, like with other things. Let's react to some dinosaur interesting facts about dinosaurs. Fossils have been found on all 7 continents. All not, yeah, especially the scariest ones got to be on Australia. Am I right? We're always picking on Australia somehow. All non-avian dinosaurs went extinct about 66 million years ago. There are roughly 700 known species of extinct dinosaurs. Modern birds are a kind of dinosaur because they share a common ancestor. Yeah, there you go. Confirmed. Dinosaurs still exist. As much as people say, oh, imagine what it'd be like to see one. You see one every fucking day, right? It just doesn't feel as badass or crazy as maybe you would think, but...
The Lich King versus Garrosh. Victory or death.
So yeah, that element at least I like. The fact that whatever, the plagues and this thing was a pretty good combo. I'm not sure what the death rattle we're gonna get there right away that we want to shuffle that, so I'm not worried about it. But we did win that game despite all the disconnects. That's what the game has to resort to try to stop me from going on this crazy run to fucking legend without losing a single game. But yeah, Whizbang has only 1 life, so is he gonna carry me into the new year? And how come we always get this streak of like the same ones over and over? If that was even happening in a bad way with Renounced Darkness, like I would keep getting, I would keep rolling into Death Knight and Demon Hunter, despite the fact that those weren't supported because we were only allowed to use the ones in Twist mode, right? So we use Renounce and Twist, which is meant to be an old school expansion, but then we're getting classes that didn't exist then, so it just takes away my whole collection. You might think like, oh, I'm exploiting something, but I'm not trying to. Discover a spell. If a friendly undead died, I don't know. This is going to be shuffle 2 random plagues in your opponent's deck. Okay, fine. That would be the kind of thing that you would want to do with the growl, of course. What if I did it like I do it here and then I do this and then I do it? But that would still require way too much mana. I'm trying to think of a way to sort of force that out. Or, you know, even doing it on one thing would be fine. It just feels like a waste not to do more. So we'll get one from this, and then one from... Oh, fuck. And this one I kind of clown because no matter how much this game takes liberties with the lore, the fact of the matter is that there is no such thing as a Titan that has to do with this, like a Death Knight associated Titan. Like, why would there be? This is totally fucking made up unless it really is something that they retcon in the series itself. Trigger a death rattle twice. Deal 6, went up to 8 corpses. Okay, you can't argue with that. The fact that it costs 2 lasts is even fine. Like, it's not even necessary, but we definitely want to milk these plagues from the death rattle. Though, if I can just, I can play this, I can play this, I can play this for 5, and then I can do this at some point with one of those death rattles. I like kind of piecing together how you're meant to play these decks, even though I have no idea going in. And some, you know, I obviously hate rogues. Are always so contrived and convoluted with their mechanics sometimes, but these deck recipes in general might feel like that too. Shuffle all 3 plagues in your opponent's deck. Plagues they draw this game are unending. What does that mean, unending? Like, they don't go away when they're drawn? That's kind of bullshit, man. Even when I'm benefiting from it. Destroy a plague, deal 3 damage. Well, I can do that anytime I want. Okay, this card is kind of busted and stupid. So that just means whenever they draw them, they're just fucked. And the long kind of fucked, not the short-term one that at least ends with a happy ending. Yeah, let's see what other random tangents we can go on. We did the Paul Thomas Anderson obligatory one. We did a little dinosaur one. 5 facts about dinosaur. Let's try to find something interesting. The bird-like sound I thought was pretty cool. Biggest animals ever to walk the earth. But they're not even animals. They're either birds or they're reptiles or animal seems like a wrong description. Steam Guardian. Draw a spell. Reduce the cost of a fire spell in your hand. It's so weird how that Avatar game wasn't even actually on Steam that I played on Saturday, Frontiers of Pandora. That is so strange. You could do it with the fucking egg, but I think I'd rather, or, you know, you could still do it with the egg. You could just do,
My pain doesn't compare to your plague.
Or wait, I fucked up because I was trying to, why did I think I could do it on turn 5? I guess because something else would have already been out there. Like if I just did this, and then there was already something. Whatever, that's good enough. We got the plagues, we got them permanent. All I have to do is play this now, and then dealing 3 is not that big of a deal. I do want to do this. Now, you know, you could do it to the egg for what it's worth. Some of these death rattles become so busted, especially in conjunction with each other, that you almost feel like what they should do is make it like where everything can only have 1. So if you put something else on there, it overrides it. So now it would no longer summon the 3/3. It would also just, you know, because there are so many busted combinations like that you can get, but I guess that's part of the fun. So we're just going to end up getting infinite value from this, which is way too crazy. This will be kind of a fun way to see, at least. I should try to go until midnight just to see. Oh, fuck, but he still... That was kind of smart, because at least I can't cycle through the death rattle again, so he just dealt with it. I'm still not going to actually get the ability to play this. Fuck. You could deal 3 to everything, which is fine.
We only need 1.
And then that I'm just playing as a static play because there was no point trying to waste its rush on something. get a little old gods background, which is one of my favorite ones actually ever. Just the old gods in general I like, but it was more so the subtlety and the mystery around them that made them cool in the early days of the Warcraft universe. Instead, they kind of made it too conspicuous, I guess, over time. Although I'm not even really aware of all the details. It just seems like it makes sense that in time you would have to face all that, but they made it from like a cool, mysterious thing to like too much in your face. Even though you did fight Cthulhu in the first expansion, it just still felt a little bit less of a big deal. I almost don't even feel the need to do that. Like, you got to deal with my board first, then if you clear it, then I'll do that, but... Let's see, this doesn't even seem as good as you might think. It's only at 8.5. But, obviously the free value of it is what makes it busted. Yeah, I don't know if I'm playing against bots some of the time, or these are just like bad players with bad decks or something. But so much of the time I get my ass beat by these same people, so I guess I can't say that. You would think they'd be emoting more or something, though, if they were real people. There's a lot of emphasis on the death rattle thing here. You could certainly do this. You still don't have to worry about the Scourge card or whatever. You take 2, but what does that mean? Or that just means it goes back in the deck? I thought it would like stay in their hand and do it at the beginning of every turn. So you do it, but then it doesn't go away. 1 more up to 10. So it'll keep stacking. So doesn't that mean that this one's the best? Because the other ones don't have stacking effects. So just because this one has the potential to do that, makes this one objectively better than the other 2. The other one would heal you, and the other one would summon a 2-2. So it's almost like it should get better every time too. Instead of a 2-2, then the next time it becomes a 3-3, and it keeps going up to a 10-10. And for the heal, you know, it heals you for 2, then it goes up to healing you to up to 10. That would be the way to make it kind of make sense with that one. So I've never played this guy before, but I don't want to do it just to BM the guy either. You get the silver, Death Time Mastery. I mean, I don't mind playing the same class over and over like that. Whether because it's good or whether, oh, we're going to get a hang of it and actually understand how the deck works, which that one is pretty... Oh no, we still don't get the silver though. Watch me lose in my first game at silver though. Even Whizbang can't measure up to that. But this shows you how comically bad a lot of the decks I use actually are. That you can just face roll it with this one. I don't even know what I'm doing. Both, I don't know what I'm doing with what I'm using, or even I don't know what I am using, but I also don't know what my opponents are using or what they're trying to do. And I complain about getting the same class twice, but then I get a clown class like this that I hate. Resurrect friendly, meaning the cost 3 or less. I actually don't mind having 2 of those, but I just don't know what it is that I'm really looking for. Okay, I can't argue with that. After use an ability to discover all your minion. I've never really used the Titans too much. In fact, this might be one of the only ones I've ever played, because I did have it in that one priest deck, or at least one of the only ones I've had in my decks consistently. Because I was doing that underplayed class round robin to show you how much I dislike priest. That was one of the 2 least played classes, priest and rogue. You would think theoretically I might not dislike priest that much, because sometimes I do have a soft spot for control decks, but definitely rogues have like this very narrow, insular, contrived mechanic most of the time, where like everything is super specific and contextual. I'm more like a raw value type of person, like, oh, this card is just fun, it's a 5 mana 10-10, 4 mana 7-7, stuff like that, or just whatever overall value that's more sort of flexible with the way you can use it. That, you know, not saying every class doesn't have stuff like that that feels very specific and synergistic, but just that can be kind of an extreme. Okay, hurry up, dude. So is Hero of the Storms like gone completely offline? That's an interesting topic. Let's see. Heroes of the Storm game series. Really, what's the series? There's only one game. 2015 it came out. Is it discontinued over 6 months ago? We'll no longer be updating or supporting it. We will support in a similar manner to our other long-standing games, StarCraft 2. It's been 6 months. You can still play the game though. I mean, I always like the premise of it. Like, it's fun. You get like this almost Smash Brothers type of experience for Blizzard games, but it just doesn't feel like they maybe did entire justice to it, or kind of makes you appreciate League of Legends or something a little more, because it's not as easy as you think. Like, you might think, oh, it just exploded because the genre was so popular and whatever, like Fortnite or something in its genre. It was the first to do it, or the first to popularize it in such a way, so it gets the benefit of the doubt. But there must be something that does better on a regular basis, because otherwise anybody could do it. And somebody like Blizzard has been so good with genres. Like, Blizzard kind of had the rareware effect. They could make an RTS game like Warcraft or StarCraft and they would be the best at it. They could make a Diablo style hack and slash game and they would be the best at it. They could make an MMO, World of Warcraft Classic, and it'd be the best game ever. Like, they could do any genre and just make it work. So it's the same thing with Rareware. They could make Perfect Dark and GoldenEye first-person shooters, and they could make platformers like Donkey Kong 64 and Banjo-Tooie, Banjo-Kazooie, and they could make Killer Instinct, a fighting game, like all these kind of things. You know, jack of all trades, master of all trades too. Like, just so dynamic that no matter what they did, it always worked out. They could make a card game, you know, Blizzard, and it could be this good. So they really I'm having one problem with this deck, is that I don't have any minions in here at all. Draw 2 minions. Yeah, that would really... Wait. Okay. Like, literally, I can't do anything. I understand you might want to play it at a slow pace, but this is going to be too much. Is this going to be the one that kills Whizbang off? Maybe I should go until I lose as Whizbang, no matter how long that takes, but I can't stay up all night either, because he's never going to lose. Yeah, anytime I should try to make a run for something like with Renounced, then we get fucked by the bug. So at least here, like, let's see if we can get to Legend with the Whizbang, but that would be a separate challenge than just saying, like, I can't lose with him even once. Right, then you could just keep trying over and over and see how far you can get. Keep getting paranoid that it's crashing or something because of how much that was happening earlier. So yeah, Heroes of the Storm. Let's actually read some stuff about it too. Or what is this? Heroes of the Storm Eternal Conflict. What is that? Like a mobile version of it? The Diablo themed event. Why is that showing up as like a separate game? And why is the game showing up as like a series? I never really played the game much myself, so I can't really say. You know, maybe the fact that they took away certain mechanics, I can't remember exactly what, but either they took away the shop or they took away some sense of progression or something, or like everything is shared somehow. As +1/+1 for each other astral automaton you summon this game.
My power is as infinite as the stars.
Like, just because we have nothing else that we could ever play, we could kind of just go all in here, which is probably not the greatest idea, but I mean, we will get a copy there. Yeah, look at our meta god tier strategies, even though I don't know what the fuck I'm doing. Get to silver. But yeah, like every game should be a different topic. This is like a just chatting setup for a stream, right? So one game we talk about Paul Thomas Anderson, one game we talk about dinosaurs, one game we talk about Heroes of the Storm. Like, this is the state of content on Twitch in 2023 that you should be doing. Now it's going to be the state in 2024. We're going to do react kind of topics. This is the kind of shit that people actually do, though, unironically. At least I have the decency to say how ironic and stupid it is. Okay, we did get Demon Hunter before. Why are we only getting like the fucking new classes, quote unquote. Give us Monk next, even though it doesn't even exist in the game. It probably never will because nobody likes that expansion anyway. Mist of Pandaria, but they did kind of even acknowledge that, like, let's make the 2 hero classes out of order. We'll skip ahead to Demon Hunter, then we'll go back to Death Knight, and so we'll perfectly dance around Monk. We'll do the one after it, then we'll do the one before it, but we just make sure we don't do it. Which they probably will do it at some point, but at least they took their time getting there. Govern Outcast card, copy lowest cost demon in your hand. Now, wouldn't that be worth it? Because if you, oh shit, that's actually a great play, because, you know, that's such a perfect one to do, and they're already so high cost. Good way to reward yourself for having a top heavy hand there. This is going to be Colossal +4, then in turn deal 2 to a random enemy. It's not really all that well statted though. 7 mana, 4/7. Increase the damage of the socks by 1. After survive damage, deal it to enemy. Here, I'm not even a big fan of that effect, but there must be a reason why it's in here. I'm the type of dude who would use like those cards in Yu-Gi-Oh with no card text on them, no effect, but just if they had good stats, like, oh, it's a 2000 attack, 4-star minion, that's good enough for me. Like, I don't need anything else. So it feels kind of like you'd rather have the raw value than an effect. So instead of a 9 mana 9/9 with those effects, how about just like a 7 mana 9/9 or a 9 mana 11/11 or something, and then just ignore the effects altogether. Yeah, Demon Hunter was also one of my least played classes ever, but at least you could feel like that's fair because it came out sort of, you know, obviously later, and it was just not something, I wasn't playing the game much at that time, so I guess that's always fair. A little bit different than Priest and Rogue being there from the beginning of the game, and I just avoided them so much. But it makes sense, you know, those aren't really my playstyle, and I'm surprised I didn't like Druid a little more, considering my love of green, basically the equivalent in Magic the Gathering. Top 3 cards, shuffle 1 of them into the deck, Outcast. Shuffle your hand in your deck, draw 4 cards. Now that's only good if I can like burn out my hand as much as possible, where I have nothing. Yeah, shuffle my non-existent hand in my deck of 0 cards, and then you'll draw 4. And you can fuck over whatever your opponent's planning too, I guess. Or is this a new way for them to convey that you're playing against a bot? They use the mobile card back instead of the little gear one, I guess. I hate when multiplayer games do that. Like, this game is far from being dead, so I don't really get why I would need to do that. And it doesn't even show you their opponent's rank anymore, so they could be a legend player. And so it'll be almost as bad matchmaking as PvZ, where you get, you know, you're rank 10 and you're playing like a rank 40 Taco, rank 41 Rose, mid-range fucking garbage. This card always gives me a little PTSD just from the Shutterwalk nonsense associated with it. You can get rid of that guy. Use a card to shuffle into your deck. We could shuffle in like the coin, I guess. Oh, fuck. I guess that wasn't the best idea to do. Like, we'll hit you for 4, but is it really worth it? There's a lot of, like, why is that card even in the deck? Like, why is that a good card to ever have? I don't get it. It's just stupid. Like, that 3 damage isn't going to make any difference at all. I don't know if I'm going to have the energy I should have made it till midnight. I wanted to just in principle. Whatever, for the... Not that this is like a New Year's special type of stream the way that I did one for Christmas, but, you know, my little Skyrim Christmas special, the only time in the year I ever play Skyrim. But at least with this, I was trying to show off Whizbang. Like, we will actually last till midnight. but I don't know if I can do it. Not because we won't win in game, but because I'll literally fall asleep in real life. I just sometimes find it like unfun. You know, it's not even a question of fuck. Really not much I can do there. Right, like I've tried to do all night overnight streams or something like that, and at some point it's like it's 3 a.m. and I'm tired, and it's like I'm not even having fun, so why would I want to do that? I would always do long streams back in the day, but I would do them throughout the day and somehow find a way to make that work, even if I could go AFK and stuff. But, like, staying up all night and you're like super tired and like half asleep, it's like, why is that even fun to do? But a lot of these big streamers do it, and I don't get it. I guess it's a little different if your whole lifestyle is streaming, but even then, I don't think I would enjoy it. Or even just take the streaming idea out of it, like just in real life, like regular practice. If I like, oh, I'm enjoying this game so much, I want to stay up all night to play it, but then at some point I'm like, I'd rather just sleep and then wake up early in the morning and play it all day tomorrow or whatever. If I have time, but I don't see what the appeal of that really is. That's one of the biggest causes of health problems, actually, that people underrate, is just lack of sleep or whatever, sleep deprivation, or bad and erratic sleep cycles. So I would have been able to do something, but I can't do the coin. Deal 2, finale. Dealing the 1 isn't going to do anything, though. Or that was kind of a waste anyway. So these stocks would do a little bit of damage. Enough to clear this shit out, I guess. Imagine you play this perfectly to counter my fucking coin play. Fucking, like, what else would it have stopped me from doing? Yeah, we've gone through a pretty fun number of decks here in the last couple months, I guess, because I do only play once a week, but we've touched a lot of good bases, so now I'll move on to, well, whatever. We'll let Whizbang have his day. And then we'll do Hunter, we'll do some other classes. I should have a fuckload of dust, actually, because I just got so many of those catch-up packs and other crazy things. And so I should be able to make almost anything I want. I want to get to a point, some point where, like, at least for one class or something, I have, like, every single card in the history of the game for that one class, even if I commit to it. And then I can fuck around with... But even then, you'll need all kind of neutral cards to fuck around with those, too. Like, I can make all these kind of unique, fun, theme gimmick decks that are different than the ones that I've been using for all this time, at least. Why is everybody just AFK out? Like... Oh, are you serious? We didn't even kill that? But I mean, these should still work, even if you lose that. But no, it doesn't feel like Whizbang's really earning these wins if they're just AFKing out. That'll increase the damage of them, and this would be... Now, how would this work? Like... They're not going to do anything more. Like, it'll upscale their damage, but... I mean, of course you win, but... Having the second one there doesn't really do anything immediately. Okay, so what you can do is just keep going, and it does seem interesting. I feel like we've gotten Death Knight and Demon Hunter a lot. I don't know why it seems to have a bias where it's always giving you those. Not that it's bad even, but like with Renounce, never mind the fact that it's in twist mode and it's not a valid thing to play. It just seems like, okay, we get... I don't know if I've gotten a Paladin yet. Draw a Beast. Seems very random. Deal 3 damage to all enemy minions. Cost 1 less for each enemy minion. That's kind of dumb. Like, you don't really want them to have that many. Both players summon 3 outlaws, give yours rush. I have a hard time understanding exactly why that would be good though. So you'll do it and then use your 3 to rush into his 3. So like what the fuck did that accomplish? Pawn, Battlecry, quick draw, summon a copy of this. He looks a little weird. Okay. Not really a big deal. Both players summon 3/3/3. That seems so stupid. Send enemy minions health to 1, then deal 1 to all enemies. Like, why would I want to do that? I don't get it.
Reporting for duty.
You'd obviously have to do it with some kind of crazy combo that's going to buff them or something, but it was tempting. Like, oh, I should use 2/3/3s to kill this. And then we got good value because they'll still be alive, but okay, that was a pretty shit value turn for him, though. On Divine Shield, if your deck has no duplicates, get a permanent Mirage. So that's obviously one of those free real estate moments where that's obviously just how the deck is designed to benefit you there. At the start of your turn, transform into a copy of a minion in your deck. This stays in your hand. Spirit of the Badlands. I mean, this could just as easily pass off as like a shaman card or something, or a hunter card even. Like, why are paladins having to do with beasts now? It's like when warriors had to do with fire spells for a little bit. They're like, what the fuck kind of random shit is this? Okay, this I still can't really do anything. I can't believe we're actually using this shit in 2023. Muster for battle.
Do not be deceived.
I don't even bother with it yet. Whizbang is literally gonna keep me up all night. I don't mind staying up all night for a bang, but this isn't what I had in mind. Lay down the law, tradable. Set a minion's attacking health to 1. Then deal 1 damage to it. I mean, I don't think that's entirely worth it, but they're really having a fun time with this little consecrate wannabe type shit. What a stupid card, though. I mean, I'm not saying it doesn't have value, but it'll rely on some very specific synergy or combo or something that's going to just feel like, you know, it's useless otherwise. Whenever Wind Fury, whenever your hero attacks a minion, set a stat to 3/3. Okay. When you have a trumpet, everything looks like a target. I don't know. Fucking. None of this stuff seems all that impressive. I can do it again. Give all time minions +2/+2. Store 2 health repeatable this turn. I can save that for later. This is pretty good. I mean, I should just start doing these, period.
For justice, the battle, the battle.
Right, because what you can do is just... You have Wind Fury, too, which is totally superfluous. Like, yes, I could kill 2 things that way every turn, but, like, given its durability, I don't know how good that's really going to be. Yeah, this is the whole point, though, if you just keep getting something good like that. Deal 3, gain 3. I like how you can identify power creep in so many games by like just the keywords and descriptions of mechanics. Like just by the name alone, you could tell like, oh, colossal, and you summon like 4 tentacles and all this kind of crazy crap. You can just tell that's power creep right from the get-go. Heighten your taunt. Minions can't take more than 2 damage at a time.
I will not forsake you. The battle, the battle. The battle! The battle! I can't do that.
Feast and famine. Wait, what? Wait, what even happened? I don't even understand. Draw 2 minions, set their attack and health cost to 2. Empowered, give your minions +2/+2. Set the attack and health of minions. Choose one. What happened to do that? I don't know what happened, but whatever. We can actually flex the effect now, though. Oh shit, we would have gotten it again.
The desert sun.
Let's just give everything +2/+2.
Open your mind to the light.
Decent payment. Your leftmost minion has +3 attack and lifesteal. Last 3 turns, give your hero +3 attack this turn. And lifesteal, which is actually going to be the kill because we can just... Wait. I'm confused. What is the secondary effect that's happening? I'm doing the first effect, but where are we getting that other effect from? Empowered. I don't know what I'm looking at. Maybe it's the dredge effect or something. I'm somehow confusing everything with it just being the, you know, with it being the Titan somehow. It's got nothing to do with that. Perfect honorable kill as well. Okay, that's just the dredge effect. I get it. As you can tell, not a mechanic I use very much. Okay, we go again. This is pretty remarkable, though. One of our best streaks in a long time in this game has been because of this, but not because, well, whatever, because of whatever garbage I normally use.
Garrosh versus Jaina.
The one that finally beats us is going to be very surprising, or maybe whatever beat me that first episode might come back to haunt me again, but I don't even remember what it was, or if I really did lose. Deal 3, 2, and 1 random minions. Quick draw, choose the targets. Boom boss, so good. Level 3 TNT in the deck or not. Blow up a card the enemy hand deck, and that's so fucking busted. I'll actually keep it just because, you know, we have a decent curve otherwise. If your armor changes turn, draw 2 cards. Gives you a pretty good incentive to not play it right away. Deal 5 damage to a minion, forge, then deal 5 split randomly among enemy minions. Okay. Your armor changes this turn. I really should wait. I don't feel like I need... Well... No, you have to save that. You can always just play your regular armor hero power for the same thing. Or, you know, if you have a weapon equipped, you could just whack something and therefore your armor changed too. Just by losing it. Rush, Taunt, Dormant. 4 mana, 16/16. Wow. I thought a 4 mana, 7/7 was ridiculous. Flagmaw the Slumbering. He looks pretty cool. Order for 6 turns. Excavate to awaken 2 turns sooner. But even then, like, he's pretty good value, period.
What now?
Like, 6 turns is what it is, but... Deal 5, then deal 5 again. Fuck it, I'll just do that because he's cool, and then I'll wait and see what happens. So... That's cute, but I mean, they'll just use removal on it in such a way that it's not that big of a deal. Also said by the guy in fucking Radiant Dawn. Fire Emblem, the one priest. Like all the... I always have a good nickname for these cards. Like the name dropper is the Spectral Knight because it mentions both Kel'Thuzad and the Lich King. Or the Meghan Markle card, the Social Climber from Magic the Gathering. I should call this whatever that priest's name is in Radiant Dawn. We haven't forged it. Spend 2 mana for an upgrade.
What now?
You upgrade that, and then you can just do this. probably be pretty good. Fuck. That's the dumbest thing you could do though, but it still ended up working out. Why don't any of these people emote? Probably because they're not people at all. Of course, that proves it. 100% foolproof way to tell whether somebody's a bot. I gotta know what that guy's name is now. Radiant Dawn. Radiant Dawn, one of the most disorganized. Licane, I think. The Licane card. But no, it was one of the most disorganized game ever that seems like 2 games combined into one. So that could have been like a trilogy, Path of Radiance, Radiant Dawn, and then something else. But they just crammed it all together in just one game, where you go from just dealing with Benyan and all these different wars going on to fucking dealing with Ashera, the goddess, and all this kind of stuff going on. Like, it's way too much. So this is good. Just get rid of everything. Speaking of the whole fire thing that has nothing to do with anything. Like, just fire warrior. And what was the last thing that I was saying that's kind of weird like that? Oh yeah, like a beast paladin. We got a warrior role-playing as a mage. A warrior wearing robes. Not the first time I've ever done that in a Warcraft game. Or a fucking paladin role-playing as a hunter. Quick draw card, get a random quick draw card if you play this turn. Repeat this, but that might be better for when we have more mana. Okay, that one we should be able to do now. If I do this, then I do this, then I do this, and you draw 2 cards. This dude's coming up pretty soon. Oh, General Vezix. I didn't even know he was in this expansion. Rush, gain 4 armor, lose 4 armor, resummon this. Battle cry, gain 4 armor. Death rattle, lose 4 armor to resummon this. What does that have to do with General Vezix, though? I don't get it. I forget what his mechanic even is in Ulduar, but yeah, like, why is he even a warrior card? I don't know. Okay, we don't have any armor with which to use that. Destroy damage minion. Now the real value here is if you gain 4 armor again and then you can keep doing it. So I'm sure there's tremendous value to be found in that. But maybe he won't be able to get rid of it anyway. What is this dude about? Okay, he's almost ready to go as well. Gain 6 armor, excavated treasure. Done 3 TNT when drawn. Okay, now's maybe not the time to do that. Let's gain the armor so we get Vezix back. And we get to do that as well. Excavated treasure. You can do this again. Get 2 coins. What else do we get? I'm kind of just playing everything just for the sake of doing it now. Excavated treasure. Let's see what that's actually gonna be. Return enemy minion into its owner's hand. I hate to waste my shit like this, but I'd rather just do one than do both, just so I do my hero power or something. If only it was on Vezix, then it could have just fucking re-summoned the fucking thing. There probably is some logical reason as far as the fight as to why. Yeah, let me actually look that up because I completely forget what his mechanic was or anything. He wasn't actually that hard of a fight from what I remember. Wrath of the Lich King Classic. General Vezix is a single phase fight in which 8th required boss, in which the biggest mechanic is Aura of Despair, which costs most mana regeneration sources as well as reducing melee attack speed, although the effect can be something Serenite Vapors. Has a hard mode accessible by players Giving up on the mana generation vapors and not killing any for 4 minutes, leaving all vapors alive. I love that aspect that you could choose, like the way that you could choose to act. What the fuck is this? The way that you could choose to activate the hard mode sort of more dynamically than simply. It's a much better system than basically like, oh, you go into it and choose heroic or you choose mythic. This is more dynamic. Like, you go in and you do the fight, but if you want it to be a hard mode, you can choose to make it that way. Like Mimiron's hard mode, hit the button or something. That one's even maybe not the best, but choosing to do certain mechanics a certain way is certainly a good way of doing it. But they kind of ditched that whole idea. Because, like, how many ways do you want to split the community? You have this awesome new raid out, but then you're like, okay, there's a 10-man version, 25-man version, then there's 10-man heroic, then 10-man mythic, then there's 25-man regular mythic heroic. Like, what's the point, dude? Just to make everybody feel like they're getting a participation trophy or something. The way that it worked originally was more raw. Like, if you did the Sunwell, you did it. Otherwise, you didn't. So, like, the hard mode would be doing another boss. Like, anybody can do Kalagos, but not everybody can do Muru. So the hard mode was doing the tougher bosses later on in the dungeon. Right? Now, that might seem like a waste of content. People always said that with Nax 40. It's like, how many people actually got to see it? But I guess the difference with that is that was like the final boss of the game at that point. Or, you know, like that's like beating WoW Classic was doing Nax 40. And so the point is that there's a certain psychological mystique and value to it that comes along with the idea of, you know, knowing how hard it is to do makes it more meaningful, or knowing how few people did it makes it feel valuable. It's like a real life mythology legend. Like, wow, only 0.01% of players actually did Nax 40. And so it gives you this great sense of epicness to aspire to. Like, wow, that makes you feel like a real life event or achievement. Like, only 0.1% of people did it, so it actually means something. Whereas if everyone does it, oh, well, everyone did it on 10-man mode or something. Like, I get why they do it, but I don't completely discount the way it worked before either. Makes me very curious to see, like, with a game like EverQuest, which of course I've only played the one time, just in my whatever flex format where I play stuff I haven't played before. Like, I wonder what the raids and experiences like that were in that game, which you probably wouldn't even be able to see very reliably because of the simple fact that you're able to, you know, you're really not able to have the same community this day. Or the problem with that even is the same thing you see in WoW now is like, even if there was a community to do it, everybody would be like so jaded and cynical, and they want to speed run everything, and they don't really want to soak it in, and they've been there, done that. Even if they haven't been there and done that, they feel like they have just because, oh, somebody else has done it, or just because it's old content. So that always brings up my expression, like, even if something's not new, it's new to you if you've never done it before. Like, oh, why would you watch some old black and white movie like Casablanca from the 1940s? Because you haven't seen it. So, oh, why would I watch this old movie? But it's not old because it's new to you because you've never seen it. It's the same thing with WoW. It's like, you've never done Nax 40, right, when WoW Classic came out. How do I know that? Because basically nobody had done it. And yet people are acting like, oh, everything's old news, or not even just that, but just in general. Like, you know, everyone acted as if they had done everything in the game just because it had been done before. But if you think along those lines, then, you know, everything feels like that. And what else? This is like a little brief intermission, I guess. We were also looking at it from a perspective of, oh yeah, there were some funny contradictory comments, like on my most triggering video apparently ever, A Path of Exile, like where people are, on one hand, people are complaining like, oh, you're rushing and you're not reading the tooltips and stuff in the game. And on the flip side, somebody's saying like, oh, haha, this guy, I should almost show this, but basically the point is he's saying like, people have beaten the game in the amount of time it took him to beat like the tutorial, right? Beating Brutus. But what I find so funny about that is not only is that true, but that's okay, because like people have beaten Ocarina of Time in the amount of time it takes a normal person to beat the Deku Tree. And like, okay, but you're not playing a game for the first time trying to speed run through it. Like, instead of a first playthrough permadeath format that I always do as my staple format, I guess I should turn it into a first playthrough speed run, like where you're trying to go through as quickly as possible. I mean, there is a such thing as you want to take it in and smell the roses, so to speak, like really enjoy the experience or whatever. That's always my style. So I find that so amusing. Like you're injecting a standard that's not even there, right? Like, oh, you know, you're trying to do it as quickly as possible, apparently, is what the guy is suggesting. So therefore, you should be speedrunning it. But the same could be said about like any game ever. The normal person just playing a game for the first time, yeah, you probably would only beat like the first level in the amount of time that a speedrunner could beat the whole game. But that assumes that that's what you're trying to do. The old entry is consent thing too goes along with that. Or that's one thing that could be a big thing today. This is a subject is like people are probably doing drunk streams unless they put some rule against that finally, but just, you know, oh, they're drinking fucking champagne and getting drunk or whatever for New Year's. This is the kind of stuff people probably do. What was I saying otherwise? I mean, we're doing pretty good with this. That was a pretty good 4-mana 16/16, which doesn't even have that much of a downside. Like, that's a good example of power creep. Who would have thought it would come to this? But basically, Reno the Lone Ranger. If your deck has no duplicates, empty the enemy hero's board and limit it to 1 space for a turn. It's high noon. Shoot this turn's magic bullet. I don't know what that means, though. That doesn't help to explain it much. You might think it's stupid to keep even a thing like that, but just because it's such a power creep, probably crazy card. No, it shouldn't limit it to 1 space for 1 turn. It should limit it to 1 space, period. Fuck it. That's the kind of stage in the game we're at, where that wouldn't even be that big of a deal. Burfang. Battlecry and Death Rattle summon a random beast with cost equal to this minion's attack. Okay. Death Rattle, draw a beast, give minions in your hand +1/+1. Random King Crush sighting, set the stats of next 3 minions you play to 8/8. That's kind of good. Let's just do, or we don't even have to do that. Excited for 2024? Yeah, sure. How about you? But yeah, that's what actually doing no face cam does. It enables you to do so many things that would get you in trouble or be TOS otherwise. But because people can't see you doing them, they wouldn't know what you're doing. So it doesn't matter. But it's like, that's a double-edged sword. Or like, you know, people don't get to see your lovely facial expressions and reactions and stuff. So of course that defeats the whole thing of it. So many of these channels like anime reactions or movie reactions and stuff, I just find the concept of them so funny. It already is? Oh, you're talking to someone in a different year. What the fuck am I doing then? What do you mean? Yeah, you would never know. I could be driving my car. I could be streaming and playing a game while driving in the middle of the night while drunk at the same time, and nobody would ever know. This is the kind of shit that people actually would do though too, like driving while doing an IRL stream. I've seen so many people do that. Like, that's not super distracting. Or like the one chick who's in a foreign country and she's like walking down a road and falls into like a pothole. Now, yes, you might say, well, okay, that pothole shouldn't be there or something. But you also shouldn't be so distracted looking at your phone doing a live stream in an unknown, unfamiliar country to you. Right? Like, you don't know. You can get kidnapped. You can get hit by a car. Like, so many things can happen. It's bad enough to just do that, period. But especially in a place that you're unfamiliar with. Like, this is the kind of stupid thing that'll get people hurt or worse. Like, it's just a weird priority. Everything has to be... It's very random. Why would you say that? I don't know. Oh, I'm just talking about... I'm talking about, like, stupid stuff that people do. Like... People are probably doing drunk streams because it's New Year's, right? And so you could be... Why am I just farming people from being AFK? Like, you could be doing stuff like that and you wouldn't even know what the person is doing. I could be doing a hot tub stream, but you wouldn't even be able to see. Are you going to do anything? Not really. I'm probably going to stream till midnight and then go to sleep. Launching fireworks? No, not really. I don't really care about stuff like that. Although, you know what? I'm surprised I'm not... Or no, people don't really do fireworks on New Year's. That's more like a 4th of July thing. Because otherwise, yeah, I'd be hearing them in the background. Which is interesting for whenever I stream on 4th of July. which of course I always do because I stream every day. If I do it at such a time, it would fucking ruin it because you could hear that shit in the background the whole time. I'll be at work, so I won't be there with you when you're going into 2024. Okay, well, we're almost there already. We get the cool Nazoth, which of course I finally got myself. Not that I used it that much, but... Yeah, did they do that kind of thing in Australia? Like where they have like a big ball drop type of thing? Deal 2 damage. Okay, that's always good. Little Malagos combo that I get. But I'm assuming... Obviously Malagos isn't going to be in here. Get Sif. I haven't been this excited for a Sif since that dog from Dark Souls that you just kill mercilessly. Artorias' dog. They set off fireworks and stuff in the city. Oh, cool. Summon a copy of each minion. Each one dies after taking damage. Improved by each spell school you've cast this game? Okay. I don't know what to do with this. Why is everybody got such a hard on for the dirty rat? Like, I get it's like an anti-meta type of card, but still. They finally nerfed Time Warp to whatever extent that it doesn't work with the birds. As if it wasn't busted enough already from the beginning. I'm assuming he'll do a minion, but I guess we could try a spell just to bait him out. Deal 4 damage, infuse, add a frozen touch to your hand. Okay. Yeah, it was predictable indeed, but not in the way you think, because I mean, you should always wait for the infuse on that. I'll maybe just ignore it and go face. Yeah, that's one of the best egregious public service announcements moments. Like, for there's all these moments like on YouTube, just speaking of like the whole react type stuff, like, oh, someone's getting stalked down the street and they're on stream, right? Like in some foreign country, it's like you're on stream in front of hundreds or thousands or at least dozens of people. Like, that always gives you a certain layer of protection if somebody does try to do something, but I don't know. Everything's like so dramatized. Did you enjoy 2023? I guess. I wouldn't say I enjoyed or didn't enjoy it. Just kind of, it's a very broad way to look at it, like the whole year. What happened for me? I guess in terms of streaming, at least I've moved on from doing a lot of card games to other stuff, like my other multiplayer format, like for Paladins and Overwatch and stuff. Or what else did I do? I did the WoW series, Destiny, stuff like that. Deal 1 damage. The problem with my series is they're so fucking slow, where it could take a whole year just to do one thing. Like, I'm still doing PvZ, or I was still, you know, I was doing Anthem for like 6 months. Because I just don't do them often enough or something. Summon 3, I don't know. That's kind of panic plays. In real life, I guess I wouldn't say too much, really, but I did kind of change my schedule a lot recently, though, maybe for the worse. I started using my Blue Yeti again because of this setup. I started kind of streaming at a different time, like more so at night. So that setup did actually change a couple months ago. Draw 2 cards, cost 1 less for you. Okay, we get the different schools, dude. We get it. After this using ability, double the power of other abilities. Deal 5, cast 1 random secret. Enemy cards cost 1 more. Doing the 5 wouldn't actually do anything for me right now.
The secrets lost to time.
You know, the one card I've always wanted in this game is another Nazdor move. Not the one where both players have to start with it, but where if you somehow you just force the effect to happen, period. Like, a Nozdormu that's like, it somehow hurts you or restricts you, but it makes it so that both players' turns are always 15 seconds, period. And so that might be very one-sided, but it could have a major downside. All your minions get -2/-2, but both players are forced to, or all your cards cost 1 more, but it forces both players to play at 15 seconds a turn. Because it's such a fun effect, but you don't get to actually do it. It's like playing Blitz Hearthstone, Bullet Hearthstone. Deal 3 damage, you get a random spell. Forge this cast twice. I feel like I don't know how to use any of this stuff though. Summon a 4/5. Like I'm not getting these effects off. Okay, forge it and then do this twice, and then you get to kill that. I'm not really seeing a good way to get rid of that right now. I failed my third chess.com challenge. That was kind of a sad low point moment. Where, you know, whatever. I thought that would be the one where I'd get to 1500. I realized basically that I'm not going to have the time to do with chess what I wanted to do with it. 6/6 Demon with Taunt. This is going to be the one that actually ends our run with Whizbang. It can't end like this. Let's use the fucking meteor. Wait. That's 4 to adjacent ones. How convenient. I thought it did 3, so they changed that just for this one moment, huh? There's something else I could play that would be deal 3, add a frozen touch to your hand. I mean, just because I had that there anyway. Could be setting up for some sort of lethal, but it seems like he's using actually a pretty good deck or something. So that's what he said. 2. Deal 3. Oh shit. That maybe could backfire on him, but I don't know. Deal 3, forge. I mean, I guess I may as well just go for that because I have nothing else going on anyway. That might seem stupid, but I don't know what else to do because... Wait, why does one have taunt and one have lifesteal? Oh, with random effects, of course. Oh shit, we've never gotten to play Sargeras myself, but isn't that kind of too slow though? You would need something more. Well, maybe not. Discover a spell from a school you've cast this game. Deal 3 damage to all minions. Confirm enemy minions the one that costs 1 less. Okay, that's actually perfect. Because you will get rid of that annoying effect. Titan, whatever. Summon a random friendly demon. Even though I like... You know what? Actually, before I do that, I should get the lifesteal value still. 3/12. After it attacks and kills a minion, may attack again. Summon a copy of each minion. Each one dies after taking damage. Draw 2 cards. Okay. We're not in a terrible spot, but that I should almost save just to combo it and make sure I get armor. Kind of a waste of Jiraxis, isn't it? You're not even using the ability. Remove the top 6 cards of your opponent's deck. That's pretty annoying. Fun and interactive card design. Fuck.
Who knows what secrets will uncover?
Okay, he's using like some crazy meta crap over here. This should not that big of a deal. We get this guy, 5 damage. To all enemy minions is pretty perfect. Nature over here. Okay, we're basically going to have to do this. What spell school would I have not casted though? Summon a copy of each minion. Each dies after taking damage. I don't know. It should still be okay, right? You can hit this, you can hit this, you can hit this. You're still in a pretty good spot. You could draw 2, and then you could also forge the thing. we somehow are still hanging in there. This is kind of an epic game, actually.
Job's done.
Like, we still have a chance, even though he's using some crazy shit, too. What a back and forth. This is like a legend caliber game at fucking silver rank 7. Featuring fucking Whizbang of all things. So this, you're gonna have to rely on getting a taunt from it, I guess. Or he's so desperate that he's fucking draining the life of his own Infernal. But his board is getting a little bit too much. I'm gonna copy of a minion. Oh, I don't know why I read it like each minion. I could kill maybe that because I could do this and I could do this for 3. Deal 3 twice. So I'm gonna copy off a minion. I don't understand that card. Like, what am I really trying to do with that? Now, what really is mind-blowing there is that I didn't get a single taunt out of 4 of them, so that's fucking bullshit. I get double Wind Fury. I could have... Oh, fuck. I could have, like, froze one or something. Come on. Or no, I couldn't have. I guess I could have done a lot of things, but you wouldn't have known what you were going to get from that. I guess Whizbang actually does lose. I guess he could play as a hunter or somebody else instead then. The Whizbang does fall to a pretty suitably epic matchup, though, I must say. And let me give both Sylvanas a chance, although now they both have that portrait. I thought one of them had the other portrait, and I was trying to do like one with each. Or no, that's not the one I want to do anyway. Either this one or it's this one. I can't remember. Let's see how long we can win with this one. I wanted to get to midnight just for the fuck of it. Not that it really means anything to me, but just... I'm kind of too tired anyway, though. Fuck. If Whizbang had lasted, though, I definitely would have made a point to do it. And to think I wanted to try to cram in Season of Discovery, too. Like, as if I already don't have enough time for it, but then... Even if I did, it would be such short sessions I wouldn't get anything done. So this is not a good deck by any means, but let's actually just keep that in tradition of keeping hero cards just because I like them. Although they kind of did phase them out of the game in the sense of, you know, all the ones kind of got out of the standard rotation and then they stopped kind of making new ones, but maybe they'll reverse that trend now. Yeah, I don't know what kind of mishmash random kind of deck this is, but it's a good excuse to use the sexy Sylvanas 3D portrait at the very least. So that's always a counterintuitive thing. Like, you'll do it just for the sake of curve and pace, but this is the main reason why I don't like power creep, though. It's not even a question of, oh, it's, you know, some sort of pay to win or force you to use new cards. You can't even have fun with old school kind of fun mechanics and different decks and ideas because you'll just get destroyed by people who are using just objectively better cards, so there's nothing you can do. It's not even like, oh, they're winning because they're using something in a creative way. They're just using something objectively too good. And of course, people have no sense of honor or fun that way usually, even in formats like Wild or whatever, because they won't use stuff that's fun or interesting. They'll just use stuff that's the same old thing, or whatever the newest best thing is. Or it'll just be a bot in the one case that you do win. Malagos, for some reason, I guess you'll combine it with somehow Thracian plus double Arcane Shot or something, which isn't bad. I mean, that would be, you know, fucking 7-14. It's just very unexpected for a hunter to do that, of all things. In fact, this would be 8 and this would be 2, so you could combine it with this would do 7. No, this would do 8 plus 14. So you could actually do that. Double arcane shot plus a kill command plus that. The fact that his kill command is kind of irrelevant because you may have a beast or you may not. The problem is though that the problem is basically that you're not going to have Thracian, or I don't know if I do have him or not, but it's like it's a lot of work to put in. But you can see the makings of a combo that would do a very unexpected amount of damage for a hunter at least. I don't know how common this has ever been that anybody's ever done a Malygos hunter thing, but not saying that's even the entirety of what this deck is about, but it's at least an idea that's there. More like just a random mishmash of stuff. Draw a rush minion from deck. It almost seems worth it just to do that. Get in as much face damage as possible. This is going to be rush. Draw a rush minion from your deck. Somebody was talking about how Magic the Gathering is the first card game ever, but it depends. That's an interesting debate. Like, there were sports cards before that. You know, at least, like, I don't know to what extent you would play with them, but you would at least collect them. And there was this game called Camelot that was supposedly like the original first card game. So it's hard to say how that fits in, or at least as far as a collectible card game or like a trading card game. Too tempting to do that, but now we're in a weird spot with the board as far as whether like we're wasting everything that could have been that crazy combo, so now we can try to win without it. Just I don't know what the fuck Malygos is really in here for. I hate what they did to his voice too. He's like way more coarse and rough here, not like the smooth vibe of the Solid Snake or Liquid Snake or whatever guy who voice acted him in WoW was.
We're gonna need more gunpowder.
Yeah, that shows you this is really a top tier deck, can't you tell? But Rexar can kind of be his own. You know, give this one poisonous. Give him poisonous and you see what kind of a god tier thing you're dealing with. Because you want to get him killed, and then you do that amazing fucking combo. That is a classic. You get rush from this. Wait, what was the effect? Battle cry, draw. Oh, I just don't have one then. I could try to tweak this deck a little bit. I mean, I should have a lot of dust, or maybe I just have a lot of cards I can disenchant that I never got around to doing. We should commit fully to Hunter here and just see what the fuck we're doing. So I'm going to consider Whizbang actually dead, so we're just done playing as him now. We lasted a couple good episodes and went on a couple good streaks, but when you at least look at the deck I lost to, and maybe I misplayed things and could have done better there, but that was at least a suitably good. It wasn't just like some random garbage deck, right? That was actually impressive. Okay, Alar would be cool, but sometimes you want to go for the lowest cost one, right? Like, just so that you can play it. So it's a 9/4, and so how is Alar going to come into play with the thing? Summon a 0/3 that resurrects this minion, but when it says this minion, does that mean it's the zombies that it's resurrecting, or I don't understand how it would work with that. It doesn't say that resurrects Alar. But yeah, this is one of the most fun effects in the whole history of the game, because you can just do so many things with it, and it just kind of gives you what you need right when you need it, and it's so dynamic and flexible.
Pirate's code.
So he'll kill that, which is fine. But we gotta just keep making this work, and this we should save for some rainy moment when we really need it. Like, we could do it now, but it doesn't feel worth it. Like, we still have so many options. Cast all the spells you've cast this game. Let's just keep flexing on the zombies. This is frozen, deal 5 damage to your hero. Wind Fury, Lifesteal, Poisonous Rush. Let's actually do that. I mean, see, like, his board isn't threatening enough. We have enough health, so we can just get through it on the raw value of the Rexar alone. You can't say it doesn't hold up because we're beating this clown at like, this is the same rank that we just lost with Whizbang, which is a far superior deck. So how would we have any chance of winning now? But somehow we are going to. We could do this as just a base removal play. Arcane shot, Baron getting there. Otherwise, we could just do something with this. Deal 6 damage randomly split among other friendly minions, though. Poisonous Rush is exactly what you want, because you can just keep running it into his shit. But it's so weird that you get offered some of the same ones over and over. Like, there's so many beasts in the history of the game, and in Wild, you should be offered from the whole pool of them, if I'm not mistaken. So why did we get offered that Poison Skitterer, like, twice in a row? Not like in the same zombies crafting, but in 2 separate ones.
X marks the spot.
Okay, now what? I love how long some of these games can go on for, too. It's stupid. Even when it's such a low, uncompetitive rank. Deal 3 damage. Draw 5 secrets from your deck. I don't even think I have that many secrets, though. Whatever. Sometimes we're just going for the raw cheapness of it. Let's just do that in case he summons something big. Yeah, this just makes it so awesome. This can be like any low-level deck that you're going to go against because you're going to get so much value just from the hero power in a way that you really can't measure up to. All these dynamic effects and different ones that you get whenever right when you need them. It's so good. It's the best hero power of any of the fucking... any of the Death Knight heroes originally, definitely. I always thought Jaina's could be considered the best, but it still isn't as dynamic as this. A mechanic that actually lives up to that expression, fun and interactive, but it actually is because it's so, you know, there's so much that you can do with it. Only improved by time too. Like, yeah, power creep might be a thing, but then you should be able to benefit from, you know, choosing some of the newer beasts and stuff too. But I don't know exactly how that works. Like, it does seem like it's limiting which ones you're choosing from somehow too. Like, why are you getting such shitty ones here? Okay, as long as we don't end up dying. Dredge, if it's a 1-cost minion, something. We're still not in a bad position health-wise, so I don't see how they can beat me with whatever top-decking, low-value shit they're doing. But no, I might cheat and make an executive decision. Like, I was gonna say, oh, I'll play till I lose, but it doesn't matter. We'll make a different deck. But I'm kind of too lazy to do it. Like, I don't know what I want to put in there. That's always my problem. Oh, shit. Wait. What? Draw spells until your hand is full. But out of 11 cards, you only had 1 spell, apparently. We're going to show you a real Malygos play here, even though I won't be able to do anything with it. So I get to play all the spells I've played, but I don't think I've played too many of them. And I wouldn't even want to do him because it'll override my epic hero power here. I still don't feel the need to do this, but maybe we'll be able to make another one and then I'll feel comfortable doing it. Your beasts have Rush, Taunt, Poisonous. But see, this is a sexy interaction because we don't get the Taunt Poisonous, we get the Attack Poisonous. So that'll actually kill it. Look at this, dude. Look at this. So many beasts that die this turn. No, I don't want to do that yet. Like, the way that you're just inventing interactions that arguably don't even exist. Such an old card, but still so awesome. I wonder whether I have Thracian in here or not. At the very least, I should at least look at what is in this deck. I should stream Call of Duty. Like, I guess maybe once in my life I could do it, but not as a regular, recurring thing, I don't think. Let's see. There's so many of them too. I would totally play like a campaign of some of the old school ones just to see what it's like. Yeah, that'll be a random one. Lifesteal Rush, I guess. I have a lot of value in my back pocket here. And this I could just do, and then we can save up and... Yeah, I could do Zul'jin, but I don't really want to. Or no, I should have just used that effect too. And Malygos is totally a dud here, unless you do some crazy combo with Thracian, because you're only going to be able to do that. That really is the only way to make it good. Because you'd make both Arcane Shots 0, and then you'd make... Or, I mean, you could have other shit in there too, like the Arcane Golem and stuff, and the ones that give you the 1 cost other Arcane thing. But even in this raw sense, you could have both of these cost 0, and they'll both do 7, and then you could bring Kill Command down to 2, and you could do it all together in 1 turn. You can make another one here. At the end of your turn, load 2 bullets to deal 1 damage each, fire random enemies. Plus 3 attack for either... Okay, leave that. Although that can always be a crazy effect, because it will make a copy of, obviously, whatever it is that you make there. So we're obviously going to win, but you get to flex that hero power so beautifully. I wonder, like, really what support you would want to give this in this day and age. Like, what new cards would really make Rexxar better? Make your hero power free, or make it do it twice in the same turn? Like, I don't know. Hand is full. Let's just do that. We could do this again and go for the poisonous, which of course you don't have, but even there the lifesteal would still happen with whatever amount of damage it's going to do. I'm not saying this guy's deck was particularly good or anything, but yeah, let's say she look, how many Call of Duty games have there been over the history? I like how these are the games that people suggest me to play. I should play Fortnite, says Stars, or I should play you know, Star Wars Battlefront. I guess that was kind of still my idea. I should play Call of Duty, like all the most mainstream, normie, well-known stuff. Not even saying it's bad, but I don't think I've hardly ever played a Call of Duty game. I won't say I've never played one, but very, very briefly. Bobby Kotick immediately shows up on that. Main series, Call of Duty 2, 3, 4, Modern Warfare, World at War, Modern Warfare 2, Black Ops, Warfare 3, Black Ops 2, Call of Duty Ghosts. Yeah, I played that one on my PS3 briefly, at least, just for whatever reason. I just bought a PS3 to play GTA 5, so I bought that just to see, like, okay, maybe I'll try it. And then I barely even played it. Advanced Warfare, Black Ops, Infinite Warfare, World War 2, Black Ops 4, Modern Warfare, Black Ops Cold War. They're running out of titles, so they just keep combining different ones. Vanguard, Modern Warfare 2, Modern Warfare 3. Now, wait a second. Didn't we already do Modern Warfare 2 and Modern Warfare 3? So what do you mean, dude? So this is amazing. Instead of Modern Warfare, the number 2, it's Modern Warfare 2 with 2, like, little Roman numerals. Like, what? But how? You're really gonna... Like, they're meant to be reboots of those. I get it, but still. Yeah, there's quite a lot of them. I don't know what... Yeah, I'll totally go through each one and do the campaign and do a first playthrough permadeath of each fucking story. Which would, again, that's why that format is so fun for me, because that would still make it interesting. You might be like, oh, what's the value in doing a solo campaign of a game like that? But that would at least make it kind of high stakes, at least. What is in here and what could we put? We should put Thracian in there. Like, why not? He 100% should be in there. Or I should just filibuster till midnight, because that's the only one I kind of do is just get to midnight. And just disenchant everything here. Right, we're not playing as... What else did I want to play as on here? Theoretically, Druid. Theoretically, like, whatever was there. Right, so... Rainbow Death Knight, I guess. But yeah, I could put I'll put a Call of Duty game as one of my poll choices, and he kind of got fucked over with the line. I think that was Nightmare who did that, or I can't remember. No, it was Gerardo. He like chose regimental chess for my Saturday format, right? So he voted with like 5,000 channel points, but then it wasn't even playable, right? So there's no way to refund it after the fact. But it's like regimental chess. I bought it to play it, you know, whatever. You buy it on Steam and then you go to play it, but it literally just doesn't work. It's not even that, oh, the servers are down. It's just that the game is down. So it's not that, oh, you can't play it online. You just can't play it, period. Like, at least let me play against a bot or an AI or something. That's one of the rare issues of, like, quality control on fucking Steam. That I'm not even saying they should have to worry about that, but it is stupid. Yeah, I don't know what other classes I was trying to worry about here, like... I don't really care about Death Knights right now, but... And it's not even saying these are the only ones that I really have to disenchant, but let's just go through and do these here. We're not playing as Demon Hunter. We have Whizbang, we have a Hunter. We seem to have some interest in playing Druids here, although I don't know why. Like, what are these decks? Why is this a thing? These are not really... Just because they have Malagos, I guess? I just wanted to make a Malagos thing with every class there. Like, I don't know. Okay, definitely not Demon Hunter, though. Yeah, it's cool to make those, like, weird Malagos interactions that you wouldn't think of with a class like a Hunter that you do have a couple low-cost spells that would have worked for that, but I guess in this day and age now, you have all those other arcane shot things, right, that is Arcane Barrage or whatever, that you could easily do it with that on any class that you want. Or what you have to be careful here is not to disenchant the ones that are going to be like multi-class shared kind of cards. This is my problem with this game though, because I do it in such short sessions and so infrequently, and I'm too lazy to actually ever build a deck or do all this kind of crafting stuff, that I never get around to actually trying any other newer cards or different cards that would actually allow me to basically, you know, try like other gimmick decks rather than just the same old gimmick decks at least. So let's go through as many of these as I can. I'll keep some of these classes, I guess, just because I have some vague interest in maybe doing them with Malagos, so it doesn't make sense to disenchant their cards, although it probably still does, because I probably wouldn't use them, but... Whizbang is the gift that keeps on giving, though, because every expansion I could do the same thing. Just try it out at the beginning like that, and then by the time you get bored, the next one's already out or whatever. Yeah, see, like that's a warrior card. Not that I have much interest in playing warriors either. So that'll just leave, I guess. Hunter, obviously, we're going to leave. Although if there is like a gold card or something, you arguably could do it. I'll even leave Mage. But I'm not going to have any mercy for any of these other classes. So let's get rid of Paladin. Let's get rid of all the rest of these, right? Priest, I don't give a shit about. Rogue, I don't give a shit about. That little underplayed class round robin is definitely long over here. There should be a better way to do this. Like, just what if I want to disenchant all the new cards, just period, or something? They did kind of improve the system a little bit, but like where the new cards don't just disappear when you scroll over them if you're looking up new, or I think maybe it still does do that actually. The Paladins are also a class that I didn't play too much. I think the main deck I enjoyed was that little fake Exodia thing that I even took issue. Oh, welcome back. Sure, like it's not even truly Exodia because it's not a hand-based thing. You have to have, you know, you actually have to actively play them on the board, so it's a little bit different than that, but still, it was a fun idea. That's something that like PvZ doesn't have any mechanics like that, where it's like an auto win condition, just straight up. Everything still does happen more on the board or in health, as far as I can tell. There's no card that says like if you meet such and such conditions. Yep, only 20 minutes left. You know, you just auto win the game, which is both a plus and a minus. To have mechanics like that, sometimes it can be super contrived. like Rin the Dark Disciple or Mechithun and stuff like that. At some point you get so many of those effects that it does become a little bit ridiculous. You get rid of this. I don't even know what half of these cards do, but I certainly don't care to play as a paladin. I think that's one big lacking of this game, arguably, is that having so many classes, which makes sense why they do it, but it does restrict the card pool so much that, you know, it's like doubling up what they do in Magic the Gathering from instead of you know, like 5 colors, you basically have 10 plus, and they'll keep adding more classes. Like, imagine what a crazy change that would be to Magic. One day they'll have an expansion that introduces a new color, a 6th color. It feels like they've shown great discipline in not doing that over the years. Like with Pokemon, how they always, you know, then they introduced a new type finally. They always had whatever types they did, and then they added like the fairy type with fucking Pokemon Y, XY. You know, because I scrolled over it, I won't know which one, yeah, or like they go away regardless, whether you scroll over them or not. How stupid. So how many times have I undone and uprooted my collection here, like where we just did that because I failed the Death Knight challenge, or I guess that was a while ago, but still. Now we'll do it here, although this is all kind of just good stuff to disenchant anyway that I have no interest in. Like, I'll always commit to one class and then regret it later because I disenchanted the other class that I want to go back to and use somehow. Holy shit, there's a lot of cards though. Do you get to see the back? Do you get to see... Yeah, like, see my friend at the zoo. Not super often, but once in a while. You get to see the back. What do you mean the back? Get rid of this. That is always such a funny in-person reference. Just like, I don't know how to explain it, but that's definitely a compelling personality type for sure. Does she... Oh, like at the zoo? No, I don't usually go there. If we do something, we'll just like hang out and have lunch or whatever. Go somewhere else. That's not really the kind of thing you would want to do either. Like, you know, oh, I'm going to show off something in my workplace to my friend. Like, it's kind of, you know, not a good standard to set. What animals are there? Like everything you can imagine. I don't know. A lot. Like what a zoo normally has. There was some funny thing like all the pandas are being taken away from in general, not like that zoo, but all the pandas are being taken back by China from the United States zoos because of the bad relations. That's how you know it's going to be World War III and your country's not in good solutions, when they take all the pandas back from your zoos. That's really when you know shit is serious. That's like a new level of diplomatic international conflict over here. Even the pandas have to go. Like, it's such a petty thing to care about, but... So the United States zoos will no longer have any pandas. Or just the United States overall will have no pandas, because that's the only place, I guess, normally you would find them. Let's see. Yeah, did you know there's actually dinosaurs at that zoo? Oh, wait, because there's dinosaurs everywhere, because technically birds are dinosaurs, literally, factually, objectively. Not even like descendants of them, they're just literally them, because they were there all along. I don't know why that actually seems like such a mystique, arcane thing to say, but actually it's pretty much should be common knowledge and accepted. Like, it's not that big of a deal. Holy shit, this is kind of tedious to do, but I guess it's worth it. And then always the neutral cards, I kind of second guess whether I should do that or not. I heard about that. What does she even do to earn like taking care of everything, like literally doing everything, and having worked there for a long time to get to that point? I heard about that. It was very petty. You disagree with what? Yeah, that's quite the picture there. Not the kind of sticky situation I would have in mind. It's not that hard to imagine because, you know, like, if you do that in any field, it's like, you know, like you become the principal at a school. I don't know how much principals actually make, but, you know, you work there for a long time and you work your way up, and then you eventually get to the position where you can do something like that. That's usually how it works. I mean, so I hate when people say that too, like, oh, you know, I don't want to do this job because you only make such and such amount of money at the entry level. But nobody makes a lot of money usually right when you first start doing something, right? Like, you always have to earn your keep or whatever, work your way up. So people are super impatient, like, oh, if I'm not making 6 figures from day one, I don't want to do it. Like, what the fuck? There's very few ways you could actually do that. I'm trying to think of an example. Like, sure, you can be a lawyer, whatever, and make 6 figures right away, but even then you'll have to do like internships and stuff for a while, and you'll spend so much on schooling to get to that point that you'll be really set back. But at least then it's worth it to have those loans. But yeah, that's one of the dumbest arguments in the modern era now, is like all this sort of loan forgiveness and stuff, is the idea that, you know, people got suckered into things and they'll say, oh, loans are predatory and this and that. But there's so many people in the past who feel salty about it, and maybe rightfully so. Like, they had to deal with their loans without the help of all this kind of shit, and now you want to bitch about it. Like, nobody's forcing you to go to college, or nobody's saying you have to do that. Or not only is nobody forcing you to go to college, but nobody's forcing you to take a loan to go to college, right? So you can choose, okay, don't go, or if you go, then pay for it, or if you go and don't pay for it, then deal with the circumstance that you specifically created and found yourself in. Like, there's so many qualifiers for that. Like, at some point you just have to deal with it, instead of, oh yeah, everything should just be free, even though you chose to do something going in that you knew wasn't going to be free, and you knew the terms of it. So no matter how predatory it might be, you're also a moron for not knowing that or not paying attention. Like, everything has to be babysat for you the whole time. You earn good money? Not too much. That's so cool. Does she own? No, she doesn't own the zoo. Okay, see you later. Hope you had fun in 2023. I'll see you next year. Bye and good luck. Okay. Says the time traveler who is already in next year. Yeah, that would be a different story if you owned the fucking zoo. It's just such a random thing. That's why I like to bring it up, actually. Name dropping a zookeeper by not even saying their name, but yeah, like what is the weirdest profession that somebody that you know somebody personally is in? Okay, warlock we can do. Oh, this is fucking taking forever, bro. Okay, if we just make Thracian, I'll be happy. I can easily do. I mean, I have fucking 4,000. I mean, for all that though, I still only have 4,000 dust. Like, it's not as much as maybe it would really seem. Whatever, I was almost doing this just to stall so we could get to midnight, so I'll stall even further by going AFK. This is like my old school strategy of like, how did I manage to stream 8 hours a day? Because I would constantly go AFK, but really, I would still end up doing like 6 hours out of 8 hours or whatever, so it's still a pretty good ratio, but it's like, whenever I'd get tired or I need to eat something or whatever, I would just, you know, I would just take a break. Longest Hearthstone stream in a while, but I guess I'm just doing it for whatever stupid reason that, oh, I want to stay up till midnight. Let's just finish disenchanting these, and then I'll play one game, I guess, with Thracian in there, and just do whatever. I was almost hoping Whizbang would last the whole time, but that one guy clowned me. So just play a game to segue into the new year and fucking whatever. We'll do a Malagos crazy combo to win, surely. With the little arcane shots and shit. Let's just do Warlock and Warrior here. Holy shit, a lot of things. I mean, some of these might be from before. It's not like I got them just from those catch-up packs or whatever, but there obviously was a lot from that. They're just kind of throwing cards at you in such a almost anticlimactic way. Like, they're just dumping it. They'll show 40 cards open all at once instead of, you know, one by one in the whole... Which, you know, you could say is efficient, but that kind of diminishes the whole feel of it. This game just has too many cards, so now they're just fucking throwing them at you. It's all meaningless anyway. You're just going to disenchant most of it and make the optimal thing. Which, you know, I kind of realized something in a way with that. Like, you know, you can make a Legend Caliber deck for like 4 or 5k dust. So even if you're a new player and you just started playing the game, it'd be very easy to actually do that to the extent that, you know, you'd be able to probably problem like a psychological thing. Would you let one person die to save 20? But if you flip the logic around, would you save one person to kill 20? Or, you know, would you kill 20 people to save one? So, like, it's stuff like that is often not very difficult to do. Or, like, use the Death Note example. Like, Kira reduced the world's crime by 70%. And in the process, he killed very few people who weren't criminals. So he's killing a majority of criminals, and he's reducing the worldwide, what do you call it, crime rate by 70%. So whatever, let's say he killed 100 innocent people, and he reduced worldwide crime by 70% over several years in doing that. What that means is that he saved far more lives, because if worldwide crime was up by 70%, way more innocent people would have died because of that. Right, for all the crimes that he wouldn't have prevented, assuming that he's getting credit for it, which obviously I think it stands to reason that he would get credit for it, like, unless using some other random circumstances causing crime to just randomly reduce. But so he objectively saved way more innocent lives than he took, and if he hadn't done that, then way more innocent lives would have been lost. But people don't look at it like that somehow. Like, they view it as a net positive. Or some of the dumb things they say, like, are, you know, oh, people are only afraid of losing their lives. Oh, you mean like people only being afraid of being arrested? Like, the same sort of process that you're saying, but sort of an empirical, preconceived authority thing, though. Whatever, you know, society determines is right, even if it's by the same metric that you would go about it that way. Like, you know, like how morality is so transient over history. Like, what was considered perfectly normal at one point would be considered evil now, or what was considered, you know, evil at one point would be considered normal now. Like, it's just so, it's so arbitrary, basically. I probably did get rid of something valuable that would have been like, whatever, like a multi-class type of card. Why did I think that one couldn't be disenchanted? Okay, so you got 5,000, which isn't actually all that impressive. But we can do this guy here. Wow, there's that few cards that actually have Emperor in the name. That's surprising. Let's just go ahead and do this and just get rid of one random card to do it here. Like the fucking bear here. I don't know how big a fan of I am of that I am. I'm surprised I didn't get actually more dust than that. Sure, I have more stuff to disenchant, but okay, let's go here. Last game of the year, which technically won't even be because it'll end in next year, so it wasn't even the last game we already played then, unless we ended that fucking quickly.
Sylvanas versus gul'dan.
Let's see if either we can get a cool Malagos combo, or if we can
I stand
just
for
get
my
another
people.
sexy Rexar interaction. Yeah, you stood for your people and you fell for your people too, am I right? Sylvanas was a really well-written character, but I feel like maybe they...
Happy winter
What the fuck? You shouldn't be saying that, dude. Nothing's happy about your whole existence, dude. But they kind of maybe overdid it and made her into a they made her into a villain at one point, then they maybe redeemed her. I don't know what the whole storyline is, but
I race, you fold.
so here you could just wait, I guess. Epic Games at Silver Rank 7, which somehow we lost as Whizbang, but then we won as this. Absolutely garbage deck. So it's all about getting Rexar, and I should be able to play it on curve and using those kind of clutch moves to get through, but we're in a very, very questionable spot issue with this. Like, we can do multi-shot and just try to survive. That was maybe a bad decision. I could have played the bear and done that maybe instead. You can just lose like this. Like, oh, his board's going to be too strong and I just can't deal with it. My plays are not really high value enough, which is not really all that surprising. So we could do, let's just try to actually get some board presence here. We just do that. Just do that. Master of the Arcane. Get a tradable snake oil. I could make a hunter character class like that too, like a hunter without auto shoot. The problem is all the abilities, you'd have to like make a macro. Like you're only allowed to use shot abilities, but you can still use a bow. And so you have to turn off, make sure everything doesn't auto shoot. Cancel auto attack with everything. So he's definitely flooding the board in a very impressive way. Those spells cost 2 less and have lifesteal. I mean, I'm so low on health that I am just gonna die, which is unfortunate. There's nothing I can do. You would think he'd still be inclined to try to kill that, but I guess it wasn't that big of an inconvenience. I'm still not dead, but I don't know what to do.
Allah, Allah.
What? Deal 6 damage to all characters. Okay. Well, I guess suitable way to end. But whatever. That first game was pretty fun with Rexar. Normally that is how I do each episode. Like, I'll do it where every character gets 1 life, but that's not really fair the next time, because if I only have that, right? If I only have Sylvanas to play as, then that's all I'll do. So I almost need like a backup. Like, what is the second deck? Let's see. Custom Hunter 2. Whatever. Rexar can still be super fun. I'll try to tweak that maybe a little bit. See you tomorrow.